Wilkes County, once known as the moonshine capital of the world, saw people trick up their cars to get away from the cops. They decided to take those souped up cars and see who was truly the fastest. Thus, stock car racing was born. Not only was it born, it flourished in American culture, a tradition that has been reborn today in the 21st century. For only the third time in its history, the stars of NASCAR travel back to the sport's heyday for a time to have some fun and see who is simply the fastest. No points, no pressure, but $1 million on the line here tonight. NASCAR and MDK presents the NASCAR All-Star Race pre-show from the North Wilkesboro Speedway, a little more than an hour away from uptown Charlotte. It will be absolutely gorgeous weather here tonight here in North Wilkesboro Speedway. Temperature going to be in the high 60s, no chance of rain, about 59% of humidity in the area with a slight wind at 5 miles an hour west-northwest through the racetrack. And welcome everyone back to episode of MDK RaceDay. My name is Jet. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Now, you can tell well, probably the same background. I don't know, some of y'all may be used to a white background, but definitely there is an echo in the room. For those of you who do not know, I moved to Charlotte, was able to finish unpacking, at least for the most part. Don't worry, this will change. There's gonna be a lot of changes over time as I get settled in and trying different things on how I want to present my videos. So don't worry, this is not the final product, but just bear with me for at least the time being. But yes, we are back ready to go for tonight's All-Star event. Let's take a look at how the format will take place here in 2025. Now, the All-Star Open, very simple, about 100 laps with one overtime attempt if that is necessary, and all laps count, including cautions. There will be a competition break at or around lap 40. Top two finishers and the fan vote winner from the All-Star Open will advance to the All-Star Race. Now, the All-Star Race itself, a bit interesting. 250 laps. Again, all laps count, including overtime unlimited attempts if necessary. There will be a caution break at or around lap 100. But then there's this, an optional promoter's caution. If, let's say, racing gets too dry, Marcus Smith will have the ability to decide to throw a caution whenever prior to lap 220. However, if the promoter's caution has not been executed and a natural caution occurs after lap 200, then the optional caution will no longer be at play. Now let's take a look at the starting lineup first for the All-Star Open. Now, how it worked, how they determined the starting lineup was you had to do 3 lap averages plus the time you spent on pit road, and thus whoever has the fastest time starts on pole, and it was Shane Van Gisbergen. How about that? SVG. We're used to seeing him at the back, but this time he's starting up front. Alongside him is Carson Hocevar in the 77 Chevrolet. Row 2 has Noah Gregson in the 4 car and Michael McDowell in the 71 ride. Row 3, Ryan Preece. Alongside him is fellow Ford Zane Smith. Row 4, Justin Haley and John Nemechek in the number 42 Toyota, with Ty Gibbs and Ty Dillon rounding out the top 10. And the final 4 rows, Cole Cussler and Eric Jones, Riley Herbs alongside his teammate Bubba Wallace, who was fast in practice, Cody Ware and AJ Allmendinger, and rounding out the 18 car lineup is Todd Gillen and Chad Fincham. Now here's a look at the starting grid for the All-Star Race. Now this was determined based on the heat races, the 2 heat races that were done last night on Saturday night. On the pole is Brad Keselowski. Now, I should say the inside lane was from everything from heat race number 1, and the outside lane was determined from the results of heat 2. But like I said, Brad Keselowski, he led all those laps in his heat race. He wins pole. Alongside him is a winner of the second heat race, Christopher Bell. Row 2, Ross Chastain, the Kansas Fall winner last year. Alongside him is the defending champion not only of the series but also of the race, Joey Logano, and the number 22 Ford. Row 3 has William Byron, the Daytona 500 champion. Alongside him is a 2020 Cup Series champion, Chase Elliott. Row 4 has Ryan Blaney, the 2023 Cup Series champion. Alongside him is 2-time Cup champion and former All-Star Race winner, Kyle Busch in the 8 ride. With round of the top 10 is Alex Bowman in the 48 and Chris Buescher in the 17. Row 6 has Josh Berry, the Vegas winner earlier this year. Alongside him is Daniel Suarez, who made it in based on his win last year at Atlanta. Row 7 has Tyler Reddick. Alongside him is Chase Briscoe, who made it with his win in the Southern 500 when he drove for Stewart Haas Racing. Row 8 has Austin Dillon. Even though the win did not count for the playoffs, his win at Richmond did count in the record book, so he is part of the All-Star Race. Alongside him is Austin Cindric in the 2 ride. Row 9 has Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who won at Talladega last fall. That's how he is eligible. And Harrison Byrne, who got a ride, a one-off appearance for Rick Ware Racing. Now he is in due to his winning the Coke 0400 at Daytona last August. And round out the 20 car lineup is Kyle Larson. Now Larson, he will start in the 19th position due to him not not participating in his heat race as he was in Indianapolis competing for the Indy 500. He qualified in 21st, so he's not part of the Fast 12. So he will be in time for the All-Star race here today. And along the outside lane, rounding out the official 20th entry is Denny Hamlin in the 11 ride. Now, like I said, there are 3 more spots up for grabs. Whoever finishes first and second in the All-Star Open later today, and the fan vote winner will advance to the race. So what are the expectations? What are the storylines heading into this race? Well, if you did watch the heat races yesterday, there is a bit of an improvement, but still the same old problems. Now, this is the same tire we ran at Bowman Gray and at Martinsville. And when you look at how those races have fared out, well, it's going to be all about track position. I mean, Chase Elliott, he led 200-something laps, won his heat race, won his pole at Bowman Gray, and won the race. Martinsville, Denny Hamlin led over 200-some laps, started around the top 5, and he won the race. And then same thing at Bristol, Kyle Larson led all those laps, started third, and ended up finishing first. So based on the trend in 2025 and next gen at short tracks, period, if you want to have a shot at winning this race, start up front because track position will be important. There are some tricky little areas like in turn 4 that on the inside lane, the track gets a little bit bumpy. The way the cars wash up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2 can create some interesting moments like what we saw in the truck race on the final lap between Corey Heim and Lane Riggs. But again, it will be interesting because the heat races, they were done during the daytime, or I should say daytime, but around the transition, around the evening time. They were still light around sunset, so the track was still hot. Drivers were sliding around a little bit more. You did see some positive comments from Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney. They were both saying that, hey, it was fun to race out there, to be able to slip and slide around. So that is some good news, but still, we saw in the first heat race, Brad Keselowski started on pole and he led all but 1 lap. But Ross Chastain and Ryan Blaney, they were fast. They started at the back, drove the way up to the front. Blaney had to do it twice because he had a speeding penalty, but Chastain gave Keselowski a run for his money, but Keselowski was able to utilize that outside lane, conserve his tires a lot more than Chastain and Blaney, who had much fresher tires. So again, when you compile all of that, it is going to be a race all about track position. We did see some being and banging. It was surprisingly, it was not bad of a heat race for heat race number 1. Heat race number 2 was a lot more simple. We did have one incident on lap 43 with Chase Briscoe and Daniel Suarez. Chase Briscoe spun, so the pole winner in that heat race, he finished around the back. Denny Hamlin, he was horrible. I don't know what exactly happened with him, but he was just way off the base and finished last in his heat race. That's why he's starting 20th among the All-Star race confirmed entries. But up front, it was Christopher Bell. I mean, Chase Briscoe led the first 6 laps, but then Christopher Bell took over and he led and he had no issues whatsoever. It wasn't like with Keselowski in heat race number 1 where Keselowski did have some competition with Chastain, Blaney, and Byron. Heat race number 2, Bell was just in a different zip code. After about lap 20, things just got sprung out. Even with that caution later on coming up, things just continued to spread out and there was not much that happened there. So I do expect this race to basically be all about track position. If you want to take advantage of the restart, make sure you do. So around lap 100, that promoter's caution, more than likely it will be used because I just can't see a natural caution happening since the next gen. I mean, we haven't really seen that at North Wilkesboro. The only one I can think of was between Kyle Busch and Stenhouse. That's it. I could be wrong, but I think that was the only for like real natural caution in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. So I do feel like that promoter's caution will be utilized when we don't know. But yeah, I want to be confident, but I'm going to set my expectations low. I'm going to be real. Set the expectations pretty low. Now, who are the 2 drivers that I do believe will make their way into the All-Star race? Now, with the All-Star fan vote, I believe it was Noah Gragson, Bubba Wallace. I don't remember who were the other 3 drivers, but we can't really know for sure who will win the fan vote until we know who finishes 1 and 2. So that's what I'm going to guess. I believe that the top 2 finishers in the All-Star Open will both come from Spire. It will be Carson Hocevar and Michael McDowell. Again, this race is all about track position, and I feel like the same thing will be here today. If you want to have a shot at winning this race or advancing, you got to be a front runner. Keselowski started on pole. He won his heat race. Second place was Christopher Bell. He started in, and he won his heat race. If you want to win or advance, you got to be a front runner. Carson Hocevar and Michael McDowell starting 2nd and 4th. So, and I do think that they have better cars than the pole sitter, or should say than the pole sitter for this race, which would be Shane Van Gisbergen and Noah Gragson. So I feel like those 2 drivers will race their way into the All-Star race. As for the driver that I think is going to win, Again, more than likely, I feel like the winner of the All-Star race will be from the first 3 rows. Now, there is some competition there. You look at Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, the defending race winner, William Byron, also really good, Chase Elliott, pretty good there. He's shown some good speed here this weekend, but the driver that I have winning the All-Star race will be the driver starting in 2nd place. I got Christopher Bell. Bell was fast in practice, was 4th fastest, 2nd fastest among the 10 lap averages. North Wilkesboro more than likely will be a race that you got to have a car built for the long run. And I do feel like that 20 team will be fit right in that category. I do think there will be some strong contenders like Ross Chastain, especially late in the race. He was able to show some speed. Granted, he had much fresher tires, but I do think it will be a little bit of a fight. But again, with the track position, I feel like that 20 car, he will be able to get it right. As long as they don't make any mistakes on pit road, I got Christopher Bell winning the NASCAR All-Star race. But what do you think is going to happen? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more content. Until next time, I'm Jet from MDK. Thanks for watching.